And so basically what the Bible and the book of Romans tells us is that Jesus affirms for us that there are going to be 4 empires before the end of human history. And all 4 of them have existed, but one of them is going to come back in a different form. Now, if you looked at the picture of the Roman Empire, did you know today more than half of the Roman Empire is Islamic? And the other half, which is Western Europe, is growing by birth rate into Islamic states over the next 30 years. At the current birth rate, France will be a majority Muslim, Germany will be a majority Muslim, of course all the little lower countries, Belgium and Holland, all that will be, and so will Britain. Britain's probably almost there right now. I mean, the Islamic culture's birth rate is like 4 times that of kind of civilized Western people that, want to have 0 population growth. They have children. And so it's amazing how rapidly Europe is going to be like all of the Middle East. They're going to all be Islamic. And it's very interesting. How does the Antichrist kill people? Oh, the same way that ISIS did. Do you remember all those orange-suited people like this, chopping their heads off? That's the Antichrist. It's very possible the Antichrist is Islamic. But I'm not doing a prophecy conference. And the return of the real Christ. All of that is here from Rome. The Antichrist is from the revived Roman Empire. He'll be the worst human ever. He is the most described 33 titles in the Old Testament and the New Testament. The man of sin, the son of perdition, the false Christ, who rises out of the Roman Empire. And we're living in an extension. Did you know America is an extension of the Roman Britannia? It's just one of the colonies. We're Roman to the core. Our political system, our legal system, all of this. Our Western culture is so Roman. So we're actually living in a part of the old Roman Empire. And we are to be a blessing and get blessed by others. Look at verse 8. That's the next verse, Ron, before we go. I still have 2 minutes, Ron. I'm looking at my clock right there, right next to you. It's 10 o'clock. I have 2 more minutes. Look at verse 8. First, I thank my God through Jesus Christ for all of you that your faith is spoken of throughout the world. Wow. Verse 10, making request if by some means I might find a way in the will of God to you. Verse 11, I long to see you that I may impart to you some spiritual life so that you may be established. Now look at verse 12. That is, that I may be encouraged together with you by our mutual faith. You know what Paul said? He said, I want to be a blessing to you, but I can't wait to be around you to get blessed by you. I'm going to bless you, but me being around you blesses me. And I learn from you. Paul, that's what he says in 8 through 12. And Paul served God in the Spirit and not only shared, he gave others the truth in ministry, he also humbly allowed others to minister to him, and he received ministry as they gave him truths that blessed his life. See, that's the mystery of the church, how we need each other, how it's we, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We want to share in this ministry together. That's a totally different worldview, which the book of Romans teaches us. The lost people, they're naturalistic, evolutionary, and that's what everybody is. The end result of that is despair. Remember Carl Sagan, a decade ago was popular. He said we're marooned that was the name of his book, The Pale Blue Dot, in a possibly endless cosmos. We are unnoticed. We're insignificant. We're on our own. So save your planet before it gets ruined. That's really his whole life. I just distilled that incredible thinker and scientist. That's paganism, naturalism, atheism, evolutionaryism. God, our worldview is God-centered, creator-based, defined by God's Word, held by very few. We're in those canoes going the wrong direction to everybody in society, upstream. The end result is we have hope. God says humans are created beings in a created universe formed by the only uncreated being there is. He's our creator and also our redeemer and also the judge. And that our creator has revealed himself in God's word, the Bible. And Paul said, I'm so encouraged to find others of the few that are like me. And what do we do while we're here, living in this dying planet? Not be ashamed, verse 16 of the gospel of Christ. It's the power of God to salvation for everyone who believes, for the Jews first. For in it the righteousness of God is revealed, that the justified ones will live by faith. But, look at this. Everyone we meet is either saved or lost. We need to start thinking that. There are no people in the middle. This instant, whoever you meet, at the laundromat, when you go out in your golf cart, when you're in at Publix, everyone you see in the aisle, there aren't three groups of people. They're either saved or they're not. And everyone is either saved or the recipient of us somehow sharing the gospel with them. If the person is saved, we dispense them what God's word says, everything they need for life and godliness. We're encouraging them. If they're lost, they need the gospel. If they're saved but struggling or they lack assurance, they need to be reminded